Hello everyone, and welcome to Galaxy 89 Cars. Now today you join me at just before 7 AM, because today I'm headed up to Porsche Centre Silverstone for what they call a drive day. Basically, what I imagine customers and other social media people get together and are able to test out various cars from the Porsche fleet all in one day. And of course, being in the surrounds of Silverstone F1 circuit makes it quite a nice occasion. However, the real point of intrigue in this event is that I've heard that there could be a 718 GT4 in attendance. So if I'm able to get a passenger or even somehow drive that a little bit, I think that would be a really, really nice insight. Anyway, I'm going to carry on with my rather long journey, and I will catch up with you again when I arrive.
A few hours later, I finally arrived at Porsche Experience Centre Silverstone, where I had a short amount of time to stretch my legs before attending a driver briefing with the other media reps. My day was split into 4 components, the first of which was a road drive and passenger experience in the new 2019 Cayenne S. As there weren't enough demo cars to go around, I had to partner with a print journalist from Wales. I started off in the rear, which was comfortable and supportive, and offers quite a lot of space and was of course fitted and finished very well, despite the brown leather. Heating and cooling can be independently adjusted in the rear, with dual USB inputs below. Moving back, an armrest with dual cup holders pulls out from the rear of the central occasional seat. The optional sunroof had also been spec'd, which we were able to enjoy more as the weather improved. As we reached the halfway point, I was able to jump out and take my turn in the driver's seat. The car can be started using the familiar body-shaped key, and the seats can easily be adjusted by utilising the buttons to the sides. The new Cayenne S is powered by a front-mounted, single-turbocharged 3-litre V6 that produces 349 brake horsepower and 480 Nm of torque, an increase of 14 brake horsepower in the previous model. With the 7-speed PDK, this produces a 0 to 62 mph or 100 km/h time of 5.3 seconds without, and 5.1 seconds with the optional Sport Chrono timer, and top speed of 157 mph. The 2019 Cayenne S is 4,696mm long, 2,098mm wide with the mirrors, and has an unladen weight of 1,865 kilograms. Right away, I took note of the car's good visibility and driving position, and how smoothly it creeps from stationary. The car felt very direct, agile and stable, and thanks to its twin-scroll turbocharged engine, power delivery was very responsive. However, despite its great handling, I found the ride to be a little too firm. Yes, this is a Porsche, and that is probably to be expected, but I like SUVs to have a more soft, luxurious ride. The new Cayenne S has a 65-litre fuel tank and returns a combined MPG of 25, which isn't too bad considering its weight, 6-cylinder powertrain and resulting performance. However, in a time where high MPG is becoming paramount, this is questionable, and exactly why the next Cayenne range will be all-electric. Although I didn't get a look at storage space, this car does have a rear boot with a max capacity of 500 litres, but with the rear seats folded down, this is extended to 1,500 litres. After a short break, we jumped into a 2019 Cayenne S for the off-road experience, which showcases Cayenne's new and updated features that make it so capable on as well as off-road. The new Cayenne S is powered by a front-mounted 3-litre twin-turbo V6 that produces 434 brake horsepower, up by 20 brake horsepower on the previous model, and 550 Nm of torque. With the 8-speed Tiptronic S and optional Sport Chrono, this results in a 0 to 62 mph or 100 km/h time of 4.9 seconds, and 5.2 seconds without Sport Chrono, and a top speed of 164 mph. It's quite a large vehicle at 4,918mm long, 2,194mm wide, and has an unladen weight of 2,020 kilograms, but, as you'll soon see for yourself, it's still very capable. This car has the optional air suspension, which means it can weigh up to 530mm. Cayenne, at least in this spec, offers a much softer ride than Cayenne, which I imagine is due to the front and rear multi-links here with air suspension, in comparison to Cayenne's full independent double wishbones with adaptive dampers.
What sort of gradient was that?
That was 28 degrees, which it can do from standstill, so without the need for a run-up. And then we've got a hill descent control, which I've currently set to 2 mph. If I come off the brake pedal now, it's going to hold me to 2 mph. But I can adjust that speed. If you get to the point where the gradient softens off through using the cruise control, we can incrementally change the speed. And the speed range goes from 2 miles an hour at the slowest to about 16 miles per hour. Although I've never actually tried that. I've never been on a gradient where I could.
I wouldn't want to go at 16 miles per hour or anything like that.
So we've got a fairly sharp corner here, so I'll leave the car in on-road mode. What that will do is that keeps all the differentials open or unlocked, helping the turning circle, because once we lock the diffs, of course, that tends to make the car want to push straight on, reducing the turning circle, or increasing the turning circle, should I say, reducing the agility. So looking at the sinusoidals, you can see there that we will temporarily have one wheel in full compression whilst the other partner wheel is in droop. But what you'll feel is that the car body sits relatively flat despite the undulations. Now if I put the car into rocks mode, all that's going to do is soften the throttle and, as I say, enhance the traction management. So it puts some preload on the diffs and stops wheel spin being quite so early. But the car doesn't really feel as if it's going over that kind of terrain, does it?
No, it doesn't at all. If you just enter this without seeing it, you wouldn't expect it to be that.
No, you wouldn't. That smooth. And then I'm going to put the car back to one of the other settings, just to let everything relax. Of course, most 4x4's capability is limited by tyres, and because this car has such a high top speed, depending on the model, all Cayennes will routinely do over 150 miles an hour. We therefore have to have tyres with an according speed rating, which limits the tyre options, if you like. So most of these tyres are road tyres with some off-road capability. So this now is a side tilt. Porsche recommend a maximum side tilt of 35 degrees. This is about 35, in fact 30 degrees currently. It does vary a little bit. 31.
Does the buzzer start going when you get to
No, there's no audible alarm, no. Well, actually we've got a little chime there, but that's so that's 32. If we get wheel spin here, if I just persevere with the throttle, traction control will come and fix it. So if I just persevere, it pushes through. Whereas I could have selected rock crawl, which would have locked the diffs anyway. But what that shows is that all you really have to do is, providing that the terrain is feasible, pointing the car in the right direction, and it will make all the decisions. So even without a run-up, still quite competent, isn't it? So again, I've got the car in normal mode. It's on road. We've got the car raised up, but that's all. And if I just persevere, it's quite an impressive turn, isn't it, from standstill?
It is.
Yeah, very.
My brain's coming to these angles and just thinking,
Yes.
this does not compute.
No.
So what tyres is this on?
They will be Michelin's. They will be the sort of, probably the Latitudes, I would think. And I don't believe they're in new condition either, you know, they're just as they would be.
Sure.
After the off-road experience, we gathered in the lobby and were directed to our next activity, the 992 track experience. Just like with the Cayenne experience, this has been designed to demonstrate 992's performance and technological capabilities. I did have the opportunity to drive here, but as I've already done quite a bit of content with 992, I thought I'd let the test driver really put the car through its paces. This C4S is powered by an updated rear-mounted 3-litre twin-turbo flat 6 that produces 444 brake horsepower and 530 Nm of torque, up by 30 brake horsepower and 30 Nm on the previous Gen 911.
This is a skid pan. This has got the there's the impregnated of the plastic.
That's right. It gets the impregnated plastic oil with, and we cover it in water. Yeah. So we'll see what happens as we go on. The car will kick. I just stick the car, and it just catches the car. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. But what I'll do in a minute is I won't be so quick. We'll see what happens. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So that's, if you like, textbook how it should be done. So all I had to do was move the wheel, didn't I? Quick, briskly, and I just cut it was the point where I go, and then caught the car. The other thing as well is instinctive in that environment to want to lift off the accelerator, isn't it? Yeah. Well, that's not going to help you because that's going to create weight transfer, and also a bit of engine braking through the wheels, which isn't going to help. So we don't want to add any more inputs into the car. So what I'll do on this one is I won't react so quickly. Yeah. Okay then. That's what happens.
It's so violent.
Yeah. If you don't react, that's what it does. Yeah.
Incredibly violent.
Yeah. So the option to do nothing isn't there. If I go back onto the surface now, right? That's floor accelerator. It just kills the power. Lower foot on the floor. Yeah. In a minute, I'll go on there with traction control off. You'll see how slippy that actually is. So let's push that button.
Yep.
Okay. So now I've got PSM Sport. Can you see that?
Yep.
So what it's done, it's still on, but it's reduced. Yeah, so it allows the car to move more. I've got less help with speed rate, so I've got to do more work now. So I like to think it makes the car more playful.
Here we go.
As it kicks, I've got more work to do straight away. See, I'm having to really manage it, don't I? All the way down here now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. The difference.
The difference is just pushing a button. Yeah.
The traction control. So that before the traction was happening all the way down here, and now it's off. You had to manually do it.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah. Makes quite a difference, doesn't it? Just go on. The car starts to move around. I can just drive it up here, and just floating up there with minimal effort. The system's doing the lot, isn't it? Yeah.
Surprised how stable. I think I'm surprised, but yeah, very, very stable.
Now, one of the things I always show people on here, Andrew, is this car's got active damping, so it's going to we can make the car stiffer. You saw me using that on the track there. Yeah? So if I make the car stiffer, but still leave the system on, what's that going to do to the way the car handles on that? Is it going to make it better or worse, do you think?
Potentially worse.
Potentially worse. Yeah, you're right. But why is that, do you think?
The dampers are going to maybe expect a certain type of road condition, and they won't be able to keep up, or they'll be too hard.
More to do with the stiffer the car, just by making the car stiffer. As soon as I go on and start to turn, I'm going to lose grip. Yeah, straight away.
Yeah, hugely different.
Yeah, still able to manage it.
Yeah,
but and this is where we come to with cars now. Years gone by, you used to tick the box sport suspension, didn't you? For that one day when you had the car, when you found a good bit of road where you could enjoy it, but you had to put up with an awful ride the rest of the time. Well, now you don't. Yeah. Let's try. Okay, now PSM Sport. Yeah. one push there. So same thing as I was doing over there. So now the wheels will spin a bit, yeah, and the traction control won't help me quite so much. Let's try it with it partly off now. So now I've got to do a bit more work with the car to get it to go where I want it to go. So as soon as it starts to go, I've got to work a bit more, be quick with the steering, keep the car where I want it to go. That makes it a bit more playful, doesn't it?
Still, I mean,
still pretty good at that.
Yeah, quite controllable though, at least for you.
Yeah. So what if I turn it all off?
Okay.
Yeah. So that all you do, you just hold it down until it says PSM off. Yeah.
Right.
Warning comes up on there just to let me know that I've done it, and you're on your own. So now I've got nothing now at all.
Right.
So I could argue now that I've got a 450 brake horsepower car, which is 450 brake horsepower more than I need there. Isn't it? On a slippery
Definitely.
surface, yeah. So I'm going to manage that. So my wheels are going to spin. Got no stability program, but I've still got ABS. Can't turn that off. ABS brakes is all there, but it's probably not going to be much benefit to me on this. Is it? Maybe if I was coming down.
You want it with the traction control on, nice and soft, four-wheel drive, and it would be perfect.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so it's normal mode, is it? So they're trying to pull away with it all off. Yeah, we can do that in a minute. Then you put it back on again, and it just sorts it out and gets you away. It's in hero mode now. So as soon as I go, I'll lose grip straight away. As soon as I turn. That's right, really. No grip on the front now. Yeah. Losing it everywhere. Yeah, losing it everywhere. Yeah. Okay. So let's do some traction exercises with it now. Just to see what it's like. Yeah. So it's really important that our customers come here and do this because they can understand it. So I'm just going to stop it on this surface now. So I'm effectively on snow and ice. Okay. I'm now going to try and pull away. Okay. I'm not getting very far. I might as well try again. Pretty well stuck on that, yeah. So I put the system back on again. Now all I need to do now is just floor the accelerator, and the system will do it for me.
So it figures it out.
Yeah. I'm actually accelerating going up that surface now. So now you leave the system on.
All those calculations, so you can just kind of hear it figuring itself. Okay, this is the side of traction.
All it's doing is as the wheel spins, that's feeding that information back. The computer's saying, well, that's not working. Do this, do that. Yeah. That wasn't much of a launch, but to launch the car, all I do is put my left foot on the foot brake to hold it. Yeah. Then I just floor the accelerator and launch it. Are you ready?
Yep.
Let's get the bias going.
Jesus Christ.
Bonkers, isn't it?
That is insane. Oh man. The performance of these things is mental.
It's the traction, isn't it?
Yeah.
No wheel spin, no smoky tyres, nothing.
Once finished on track, we were given an hour for lunch in the Experience Centre restaurant, and we were then asked to move to the final event of the day, road drive and passenger experience in the new Panamera. The new Panamera 4e Hybrid, the car I got to test, is powered by a front-mounted 3-litre twin-turbo V6 that produces 324 brake horsepower and 450 Nm of torque, and an electric motor that provides an extra 130 brake horsepower and 400 Nm of torque. This combined petrol-electric powertrain produces 556 brake horsepower and 700 Nm of torque. With the 8-speed PDK and optional sport chrono pack fitted here, this car produces a 0 to 62 mph or 100 km/h time of 4.6 seconds and a top speed of 172 mph. Once again, there weren't quite enough demo cars to go around, so I partnered up with the same guy I drove McCann with. This time, I got to drive first, and as with McCann, all seat movement controls were found to the side. But here the car is started by turning the fixed ignition starter.
So this is what, Martin? This is.
So Panamera 4e Hybrid.
This Panamera 4e Hybrid is 5,049mm long, 2,165mm wide with the mirrors, and has an unladen weight of 2,170 kilograms. It does feel like quite a heavy car, because it is, but when you get going, it feels a lot shorter than 5 meters. When I drove a Sport Turismo last year, I got the exact same impression. Thankfully, 700 Nm means it has more than enough torque to feel very responsive. It has an 80-litre fuel tank and returns a combined petrol MPG of 13, but 80 in constant hybrid mode. We also got to try out pure EV mode. This has a max range of 27 miles, but this can be recharged quite quickly while driving through regenerative braking and extra power coming from the engine. In this mode, the fastest the car can travel is 86 miles per hour. As with Macan, I didn't get a look at the boot, but this Panamera offers 405 litres of capacity in the rear and 1,245 litres with the rear seats down. To drive, as with the other cars, it feels extremely well made, responsive, agile, planted, but offers a slightly softer ride with more of an executive feel. As it's a configurable hybrid, you also have the option of running in almost complete quiet in EV and hybrid modes, but then you can switch to Sport Plus, and with the optional sports exhaust, utilise the 700 Nm and enjoy a great sounding 6-cylinder engine.
I'm just finishing up my video today inside my car because it's just way too windy now outside, and if I tried to do it, I don't think any of you would be able to hear what I'm talking about. So I want to say a huge thank you to Porsche GB for inviting me down today. It's really good to be able to get out and test the brand new Macan S, the 6-cylinder version, and also the Panamera. I really like the Panamera. It's just a larger, more comfortable, mature adult version of 911. 911's a superb car, and I have to say Panamera is great, and it actually makes me very excited to see Cayenne shortly. Unfortunately, no 718 GT40s, I didn't see it, but hopefully in the next few months I'm going to be able to get a little bit closer to one and bring you some more content on it. Anyway, thank you again to Porsche GB. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe for the latest content.